to our Gold participants from around the world. I'm Fiona Lang-Sharp, IBCLC Public Relations Manager and MC for Gold Learning. Welcome to this chat session with Laurel Wilson. Laurel's going to be coming up at our Gold Lactation Online Conference for 2017, and we'll be presenting on going viral and bacterial, understanding Zika and Lyme and breastfeeding. Welcome, Laurel. It's great to have you here today.
Thank you. I always love being here with Gold. It's so much fun.
Well, these are pretty weighty topics that you've chosen, and I'm certainly very interested to hear because very much in the news right now, Zika, of course, being at the forefront, but Lyme never to be forgotten because we know it seems like the cases are increasing and the information is not. So I'm really excited to hear what you discovered when you were researching all of this, Laurel. But first of all, perhaps you could go ahead and introduce yourself to our listening audience today.
Sure. So I've been an IBCLC for, I don't know, close to a decade now, and I've been working in the perinatal field for almost 25 years as a doula and a lactation educator and a labor doula and also a childbirth educator. And one of my favorite things to do is learn about kind of topics that are confounding all of us in these particular fields. And I love to read research, and I love to then disseminate what I found to not only the families that I'm working with, but also to the professionals that I train as well. So I think it's important for us to always look further, particularly when we have these new challenges coming at us in the lactation and childbearing years, such as these topics, Zika and Lyme. And in fact, as I did research for these two topics, I found that I could have done a 5-hour presentation on probably each one of these topics alone.
Right.
There was just so much information. So I was pleasantly surprised from a presentation point of view how much content there was, but it was also very challenging to figure out what was most important to share with the Gold audience.
Oh, wow, that's great. Yeah, we're going to touch on that just in a minute. I'm going to let you sit with that just for a moment, but perhaps we could just go into, perhaps we could talk a little bit more about you, Laurel, and you could tell us what's going on in Laurel's life right now. We just want to hear, like, how did you end up with Gold? What do you do on a day-to-day basis, and what your life looks like year-round these days?
Well, I would say most of my life these days is traveling. I'm probably gone from home more than I'm at home nowadays, and the majority of my time I spend speaking at conferences on lactation and pregnancy topics that are important, I think, to today's professionals. And then I also spend a great deal of time still teaching the 20-hour lactation educator course to professionals who are, one, interested in having their facility go baby friendly, or two, are trying to learn breastfeeding information to apply it to whatever they're doing in the perinatal field. So that's pretty much what I'm doing these days, but it involves a lot of travel. So,
A lot of
and right now I'm sitting at home and really enjoying being at home and looking at the snow.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, a lot of traveling and a lot of speaking. So it's great to know that the community is keeping you busy, certainly, with all your great talks. So thank you for that. So as you mentioned, there was a lot of really important information in this topic, and you only have a couple of minutes to expand on that right now, because I just want to give people just a feel, first of all, of what struck you as being important personally. You know, so when you were putting this together, perhaps you could just touch on, you know, how this really resonated with you and those aha moments as you were researching it.
Well, when I was looking at Zika in particular, what really astounded me was how much information is out there about the risks to the potential risks to babies if the mother contracts Zika virus, and also the fact that her male partner, could transmit it to her for potentially 6 months and longer after a Zika event. And I don't think a lot of this information, I know it's out there in the CDC and a lot of public health departments are trying to disseminate, but it's not out in kind of everyday conversation world. And it's an important thing to consider if you're going to areas that are high for Zika risk, or even if you live in areas that are high for Zika risk. And in terms of Lyme, that I can't even tell you how many things I was struck by. My mother has struggled with Lyme, and I have so many close friends who are currently dealing with gestational Lyme um, with their entire family. And the fact that in the United States, our mainstream medical system rarely recognizes chronic Lyme and gestational Lyme as even in existence, putting so many families really at risk for long-term health challenges was something that really, really struck me. And that was found over and over again in the Lyme communities that I visited. The other thing that really struck me was the lack of, really good, solid research that's published here in the United States because our mainstream medical system is not embracing the fact that chronic Lyme is in existence, when in fact even our CDC says that there are 300,000 new cases a year. I mean, that's a problem.
Wow.
That's a significant amount of people, and that's just in the United States. That's not in Canada. That's not. There's a huge Lyme problem over in Europe as well. So it's something we have to start talking about, and this issue of gestational Lyme and can it be transmitted with breastfeeding too?
Right, right. Well, I can certainly tell that this putting this presentation together has struck you to the core by the sounds of it, and some personal notes in there as well, which of course has probably spurred you on to, really
Mm-hmm.
seek some of the truth behind of, what's happening in our local and greater communities. But I'm definitely excited to hear more from you and, and learn more of the things that you certainly found. I feel like I'm undereducated in the area, even though there's been so much and I've read so much, but it just doesn't seem enough. It doesn't settle well with me, and I think that's something that I think you and I have talked about that too. It just seems like there's a bit of a mystery behind even Zika and Lyme. So it'll be great to hear what else you discovered. Lastly, before I let you go, Laurel, I just want you to just think for a moment, if, as far as like takeaways for the delegates, what are you hoping that they will get out of this presentation, or what are you hoping that will strike them as important?
I think one of the biggest takeaways for me was how easy prevention really is for both of
Mm,
these illnesses, at least in terms of exposure to the vector, and
right.
and how we don't pay enough attention to that. And as a healthcare professional working in the field, that it's such simple prevention that we can share with families, and something that we should all be doing. So that's one of the big things. I mean, treatment. I mean, there's just so many places we can go with that, but I really hope that they come away with, oh, well, if I can do one positive thing to change the course of events for so many families, is to share how simple really prevention is for both Zika and Lyme.
Okay, well, that's great. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate you sharing on those things, and we're definitely looking forward to more of what you have to say on this topic. So, for everyone listening in right now, just as a reminder, Laurel Wilson will be presenting at our Gold Lactation Conference 2017, our 11th anniversary. Excited to have you here, Laurel, and you'll be presenting on Monday, the 17th of April. Please go to our website at www.goldlactation.com for all registration details and local scheduling times so that you can come and join us live for this presentation and, of course, many more. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Laurel. It's been a pleasure listening to you and chatting with you.
A pleasure here too. Thank you so much.
And thank you to our listening audience for tuning in. We'll look forward to having you back again. Bye bye for now.